From Katherine, we head southwest. We arrived at the Victoria River Roadhouse. The red cliffs were a sight to see. Fuel was the most expensive so far at $2.60 per litre. The little wallabies were quite shy, but came out in the evening and early in the morning. The next day we crossed the West Australian border about 60 kilometres east of Kununurra and had to stop while quarantine officers searched the car and van for fruit, vegetables and honey. At night we went to watch the local speedway. Unfortunately, an hour into racing it was stopped as all lighting failed on the generators. The next day we did a couple of hikes at Mira National Park. It was a really spectacular park to walk around. Boab trees were growing everywhere around Kununurra and they were huge. The seed pods were used for carving, the pith is edible and the seeds ground into flour. The Old River Diversion Dam was built to contain the flow of water from Lake Argyle into the irrigation area. It was a sight to see with all the water flowing out. Ivanhoe Crossing was part of the original road between Wyndham and Katherine. It was closed when we were there. As you can see, there was a large flow of water going over. We did a day trip to Valentine Springs, Black Rock Falls and Middle Springs. It was only a short distance from town, but the dirt road was quite rough and corrugated. We stayed 9 nights at Hidden Valley Caravan Park, which backs onto Mira National Park. We found it to be very quiet there and we had a huge sight. Kununurra, we did a day trip to Wyndham, 100 kilometres away. It is the most northerly town in Western Australia and has a population of 900. The port is the only deep water port between Broome and Darwin and serviced the cattle industry, which would walk to the port to provide overseas live cattle market. The fantastic views from Five Fingers Lookout over the five main rivers Ord, Pentecost, King, Forest and Durack was stunning. Wyndham has a tidal range of 8.2 metres. We did an overnight trip to El Questro station on the Gibb River Road. The 16-kilometre road in was corrugated with several water crossings, the deepest being the Pentecost River. Camping experience at El Questro was not fun, as we were allocated a site in the full hot sun and were swamped by ants. The next day at Kununurra, we needed to give the car a much needed wash from all the dirt roads. Lake Argyle is more than 18 times the size of Sydney Harbour. It's hard to get your head around just how big this lake really is. 67 kilometres long and 10 kilometres wide. Apparently there are over 30,000 freshwater crocodiles and home to black-footed rock wallabies and a popular spot to fish for catfish. We hired a barbecue pontoon boat for half a day from Lake Argyle Cruises. The cost was $295 and well worth it. It had a toilet, barbecue, pool noodles and all the safety gear required. After a short safety briefing, we were on our way. We found a marker to tie up the boat and really enjoyed a cool off in Lake Argyle. We cooked up bacon and egg rolls for Smoko. Ida skillfully flew the drone to give a perspective on how large the lake is. We drove across the dam wall. At the bottom is a hydroelectric power station. The volume flowing out was deafening. The man-made spillway rapids going out from the lake were fast flowing. Lake Argyle Caravan Park is the only place to stay near the lake. It has great views and probably the most well-known and photographed infinity pool. Thanks for watching. In the next episode we explore Honolulu Bungle Bungles National Park.